There are many age-old traditions when it comes to fragrances. One of the greatest traditions is hating on a new fragrance from a popular brand. It's just fantastic. Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. It's new Parfums de Broly time. Parfums de Broly, yeah. Althair, yes, the new one. I have my grubby little mitts on it. And today I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions on it. The box has seen better days. Somebody at the US Postal Service decided to drop kick my box down a conveyor belt, I guess. I'd imagine something like that happened. So yeah, I got the new Parfums de Marly, not sent to me by PDM. They have sent me approximately nothing ever. That's okay, I still love you guys. This one was done by two perfumers that I have actually worked with. They did two of my fragrances, Ilyas Hermanidis and Hamid Maradi Kashani. So Ilyas did Jet Black Enigma and Hamid did Terra Nova. Those fragrances right here. By the way, you can find those every Perfumania, every fragrance outlet in the country, or linked in the description. But yeah, I've done fragrances with both of the perfumers that worked on this one, so that's almost a conflict of interest. But I will not allow this to sway me in my judgment of this fragrance. I have this linked in the description below. It's $350 for this size right here, 125 mils. It is $250 for the 75 mil size. So pricey, yes. You can find it at luckyscent.com. I do have a code at luckyscent if you would like to save 10% off your order, which will lower the price slightly on this one. That code is 2023 Gents until the end of September. At the beginning of October, it changes to Gents 10. So as I kind of alluded to at the beginning of the video, this one is already beginning to get two things. Thing number one, hype. Thing number two, hate. These things, sometimes they go together. One leads to the other. Nice. It happens more and more and more, especially with niche brands though. Parfums de Marly, Raja Parfum, Amouage, Creed. Basically, do you have a popular niche brand? The answer is yes. Haha, joke's on you. You're getting hated on, boy. So let's go ahead and check out the presentation of this one first. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at the fragrance itself, talking about how this thing smells. First, taking a look at my brutalized box. That sounds weird, brutalized box. So here we have the front of the box. You got the name of the house, name of the fragrance, the size and concentration, all on the front there, nothing up top. On the side, it says a distinctive ambery fragrance with warm notes of woods and vanilla. Then on the back, you have a little information about the house, and on the bottom, your badge code and barcode. Mine is lot 3213094. Not a massive fan of the color of this one. It's kind of burnt orange, I guess. But yeah, not a big deal. What's on the inside that counts, that's what they always say. You learn that in elementary school, and it rings true throughout your entire life. Here we have the bottle, has that typical kind of Parfums de Marly matte finish to it. Nice heavy cap as always. Got the name of the brand on top of the cap, and then sticker on the bottom. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna blast a couple sprays. Struggling to get that out. Blast a couple sprays. Do I look as tired as I feel? I don't know. Let's go ahead and spray this on. Good atomizer, as always. Now we're to the real meat and potatoes. How does it smell? Is it good? Is it worth $350? Let's talk about that. Parfums de Marly is probably best known fragrance-wise for doing scents that are designer-ish with higher quality. So like niche quality designers essentially is how they roll in terms of their scent profile, typically, not always. They do have some fragrances that are definitely niche and niche, not niche and designer, if that makes any sense. So you have some things like Percival that have a definite lean over toward the designer side, smelling a bit like fierce, and even things like Layton to an extent, you know, they have that designer edge to them. So this one, which side is this walking on? Is this more designer done with niche quality, or is it a nichey boy? To me, it's definitely more designer with niche quality or higher quality, however you want to spit that. Now this has already been compared to a number of different fragrances out there. People just reaching and reaching, you know, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. Some people saying smells like Stronger With You. To me, no, absolutely not. It does not smell like Stronger With You. I've seen a lot of other things thrown out there as well, a bunch of different fragrances. I will say, and this may sound a little odd, but when I very first sprayed this on a tester strip, it reminded me of a fragrance that I haven't really seen mentioned yet, but the first blast that I got off a tester strip was definitely reminiscent, at least in my mind, of Dunhill Desire Red. Yeah, the second that I smelled that, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's like Dunhill Desire Red with a much higher budget. Just the way the sweetness hits you off the top is a bit reminiscent of that. And because of that kind of reminiscence to that fragrance off the top, it may remind you of a bunch of different things out there. So I'm gonna hit you with some of those fragrances that are a little bit similar to Dunhill Desire Red. This doesn't smell exactly like any of these fragrances, but if you're familiar with them, then when you spray this on, again, especially off a tester strip, you may be hit with like a blast of reminiscence of one of these other fragrances, where you go, oh, I've smelled that and I'm pretty sure I know what it is kind of like that. Cuba Orange, yeah, really cheapy Cuba Orange. Jaguar Gold, again, really inexpensive. Sculpture Homme, Boss Bottled to an extent. And then going up the expense ladder, Lafayette Street from Bond Number 9. This, in the opening, is kind of like dancing around the edges of those fragrances. The type of sweetness that those scents lead with, this one leads with. Now, obviously, when you compare this to something like Sculpture Homme, that one is much fresher than this one. So this is gonna have way more of a warm spiciness to it, and that warm spiciness is one of the main factors of this scent. But if you were to like strip out the warm spiciness from this, then what you'd be left with would be something reminiscent to some of these fragrances I just mentioned. So yeah, off a tester strip and off skin as well. When you first spray this one on, that's kind of what it reminds me of. Yeah, like one of those scents, most specifically, again, Dunhill Desire Red, with less freshness, more of an emphasis on warm spices, but a similar sweetness. And you may say to yourself, well, man, all those fragrances you just mentioned are pretty synthetic smelling, so does this come across synthetic? Yes, for sure. The way the sweetness hits you here right off the top, it does. So the top here, really warm, spicy, syrupy, sweet with that kind of underlying tone that ties it in with all those other fragrances, possibly caused by the orange blossom in here, the way that it's used. As it dries down, the vanilla takes over in a big way. So it's vanilla mixed with praline, again, kind of sweet on sweet, and some of that warm spice carries over into the dry down. And it does change considerably, because in the opening, it reminds me of all those other fragrances, but as it dries, that changes. It no longer smells like those. It starts to get a little bit closer in the dry down to how Mercedes-Benz Club Black smells, and that's going to be because of the emphasis put on vanilla here. Only this one is a bit different from Club Black in the dry down because this is bourbon vanilla mixed with praline. So it's like two gourmand, sweet, warm notes kind of playing together. And you have Gaiac wood in here, which you would think, well, maybe it'll add, you know, some smokiness, kind of an incense vibe to it, but it's really overwhelmed by the vanilla. So in Ben's Club Black, you're gonna get more of that kind of smokiness from incense. So again, it's not the exact same as Ben's Club Black, just like it's not the same as those fragrances I mentioned earlier about the opening here, but it's kind of in that wheelhouse, only obviously done at a much higher budget. And I know that it's kind of like annoying when a new fragrance comes out and it's like always reduced to this kind of, oh, it's kind of like that mixed with this, mixed with that, mixed with that. But it does help a little bit when somebody has never smelled this before and they are familiar with those other fragrances to let you know kind of where it sits as far as like the style, the family of the fragrance, things like that. So that's why I point out these other fragrances, not to just reduce it down to, oh, it's a combo of those two fragrances and that's all it is. Like, no, it's its own thing, but it will remind you of some other things. You know, bits and pieces plucked out of the air and put into here, you'll go, oh, okay, I can get that. So that's why I tell you these things that I tell you. So ultimately what you get here is a fragrance with just a hint of freshness off the top, a lot of, again, kind of syrupy sweetness comes across, potentially cloying in a synthetic kind of way off the top, with warm spices worked throughout, most specifically the cardamom, and a hint of cinnamon as well. And then as it dries, it really becomes a vanilla forward fragrance. That's the focal point of the scent here, with an additional kind of chocolatey underpinning from the praline and just a waft of Gaiac wood. I think the dry down for me smells way better than the opening, because the opening does come across kind of like full bore with that desire-ish kind of sweetness that I've never been a big fan of. And so the opening here just really doesn't do it for me. The dry down, like I said, gets way better, but that's because it is focused on vanilla. That is a very popular thing right now. And just to kind of like put out there what I think about it compared to some other fragrances, it's drawn a couple comparisons I saw to Tuxedo, Angel Share, and I already talked about Stronger With You. It doesn't really smell like Stronger With You. So Tuxedo, it doesn't smell like Tuxedo. Tuxedo between the two is smoother. Like Tuxedo just smells the whole way through, just elegant. You know, it oozes elegance, hence the name. I know, big surprise. Tuxedo also makes use of vanilla in there, bourbon vanilla, and has a good dose of patchouli in there as well. It has rose that adds an interesting complexity to the fragrance as it dries down. And between the two, I think it smells like the higher quality fragrance. But side by side, this one with Tuxedo, you would use them pretty much the same times. And yeah, they're both at the end of the day, you know, warm, sweet, kind of sexy fragrances, but they don't smell the same. Like this is not a replacement for that. That is not a replacement for this. And Angel Share, no, it's not Angel Share, not even close. I know praline, you see praline and maybe you start thinking, could be. It's not. That kind of boozy sweetness that Angel Share has, and also frankly the depth that Angel Share has is not really shared here. This is louder than those fragrances. Definitely gonna get you noticed more potentially as far as just projection goes, but separate scents, they're all separate. I guess we should talk seasonality really quickly, get into the wrap up. You probably already know, but more of a fall and winter time fragrance, more of an evening scent than daytime scent, but as always, wear it when you want. It's not really divisive or anything, it's pretty easy to wear, so it's not one of those fragrances where you have to have like a super ultra specific time to wear it. And really that's typical for Parfums to Marley. They want their fragrances to be worn, they want them to be versatile, to be used, to be usable, to pull compliments. That's really their style, right? And performance, like I just talked about, really good. Projects well, lasts a long time, no worries there. So overall, like where does this one fall in the hierarchy of PDM for me? Below Layton, below Herod, probably below Carlisle, talking about cool weather fragrances here. Maybe below Wajan, and then kind of like right about there. I think it's better than most of the ones that have come out here recently, and I don't think it's as good as like the really big dogs from the brand. Like, would I wear it? Yeah, for sure, I would wear it. But those other ones are just, you know, they hit a bit harder, they smell a bit richer, and they would be used at pretty much the same times. So this is a release that I would say is good, and I really like it, but it's not toward the upper echelon from the brand itself. To be fair, it's pretty hard to compete with Layton and Herod and some of these others, you know. Some of these are just rough. It's rough to compete with your own stuff. And I will say that my wife, she smelled this and she liked it, but the first thing she said was, oh good, PDM finally came out with something else that's like actually worth wearing, because in her mind, some of these more recent ones, I guess not as much. But she agreed as well. It's not quite there at the apex. All right, there we go. Althair, first impressions. Good, not mind-blowing. Maybe the opening, if it were done in a different way, it would be a little more appealing to me. But for this one, it's all about the dry down for me. And when you get to that dry down, and it's mainly vanilla mixed with praline and just a little hint of Gaiac and residual warm spice, it's something that's been done a lot lately. So it's kind of hard to like really grab my attention there. It's done well, but yeah, it is what it is. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.